Now we are in 1985, June 1985, Hamburg, just a few months before I won the world title. And that's the simul against 32 chess-playing computers. I would rather call them chess-playing devices because they could do nothing else but playing chess. And I already mentioned this event with 8 models from each of 4 leading manufacturers, and 8 of them, I remind you, carried my name because I already signed a contract with a company called Cytec from Hong Kong. And some of their models have been already changed their names to Kasparov. And I won all the games, and of course, for me, when I look at the picture from the simul, you know, it brings me back to the golden age of human-machine collaboration, human-machine competition. Machines were weak, but my hair was strong. So this is the game that had some relevance for understanding the way machines played and how they could be tricked. I had a very comfortable position of the opening, just probably a bit misplayed it, but still, in this position, just if I immediately play g5, it's sacrificing the pawn, but preparing my bishop to be activated. It would probably give me a very comfortable position, because after my bishop comes here, then the pawn can start moving, and blocking here with the queen, for instance, after ag5, bishop before queen d6, doesn't help because knight still pushes the queen. And of course, you know, with 2 rooks, it's more than natural to actually prepare the pawn moving forward. Plus, bishop can go on d6, attacking the king, maybe just, you know, activating the queen. So there's so many options. g5 was a very natural move, but when you play simuls, actually quite a long, you know, just a long simul, 32 boards. They were probably by that time. Some of the games were already over, but many games were still, you know, in action, because machines, they could play poorly, but they don't blunder, and that's why, you know, you don't expect games to be won, as sometimes in normal human exhibition events, by move, you know, 15. So that was another challenge, but I was young, and I wasn't bothered by the fact that I still had many games to handle, and played its, as I say, handy move. So b3, it looks good because it protects the pawn, and then I just, you know, I'd probably do something later, and machine plays c4. That's it. That's quite a decent move. It's immediately trying to take an advantage because black pieces are just concentrated here, and after bc4, rook c8. And now, because I thought maybe machine will take here, but then I just take and then just start pushing the pawns, but he played rook c8, and now this pawn is under attack. And of course, black, you know, created a play. That's, you know, it's a typical mistake when you just, you know, instead of attacking on your side of the board where you're stronger, so you do something on the opposite side, and the opponent can retake the initiative. In this case, opponent was a computer, and I wasn't happy. I just still played g5, and then it took on c4, and here I had to think. So when I say I had to think, I didn't have time just to sit and just take a chair and then start, you know, contemplating, but I had to make a tough decision. Position looks unpleasant. That's just at best, because now black piece is activated. You see the knight that did nothing there, now all of a sudden attacking. This knight also cuts my rooks, and I don't have time for this move, bishop g4, because now they take on d2, and all these complications, they don't end up in white's favor. I wasn't happy, and there's a rule that if you have one problematic game in the simul, it could affect the rest because you slow down. So you cannot move with the same speed. And that means, you know, you offer more time for your opponents to think. They think more time, they spend more time per each move, so they make better moves. And it's like a snowball. All of a sudden, you know, you are slowing down, they play better moves, and the game's, you know, getting longer, and, you know, you can easily lose control. So and I had to decide, so what's next? I knew enough about machines at the time, recognizing that machines were very materialistic, and they were not very good in just in anticipating the consequences just beyond some immediate material grabs. And I made a move that I would have never made under any other circumstances, but I just made some calculations, and I just made a move, and I rushed. I decided that my best chance is basically to give little time to think, move around, just make these moves quickly. I knew it might be, might have negative effects on other boards, but I think the risk was worth taking. There was one important factor that made me so concerned about this game. You remember, 4 manufacturers, one of them had contract with me, and that was exactly one of the Kasparov's computers, so from Cytec. And I already thought, okay, God forbid, I drew or I lost the game, nobody would believe that I did it. It was not on purpose, that I lost the game. It was not done, just because it was computer carrying my name and the manufacturer that had a contract with me. So I thought about all the consequences, and I thought I had to find a way to trick this machine. And I played Rook A2. So that's the blunder of a total amateur. But I had an idea that I could just sacrifice everything here and attack the king, and machine would not have time, that's I thought, and I was right, to shift its attention, as if it can shift the attention at all. So from the queen side, where it can grab the material, to the king side, where the game will be decided. So we took on A2, of course, circling around quickly. It takes the pawn, of course it takes the pawn. G takes H6. It's just, it's not going to work, but machine doesn't even look there, it looks here, it takes the knight. So I had no pieces here. Now, Queen G2. I'm threatening, just, it's checkmate, Rook C7, D6. It's a desperate attempt, but it was all played very quickly, and simply after Rook F7, white attack would be stopped. So I probably play Bishop H5, trying to complicate things, but machine doesn't want to play Bishop D7, Queen Rook D7, and Bishop G4. And here Black had to find the only correct move, which was Queen A4, protecting the rook, not attacking the queen. From machine's perspective, Queen B3 was also good because it attacks the rook, and it's a good exchange for Black, but it didn't have time to look deeper. And now all of a sudden, despite an extra rook, Black is lost, because now my plan worked. It was a brilliant execution, thanks to the computer's greed and inability to calculate beyond its what we call the black horizon. So now the machine recognizes that it's being checkmated, Rook F7, and after Bishop E6, it's a pin, so it had to go King F8. And now H7. So all of a sudden, we just have the H pawn that's everybody forgot of now, just to advance. So and machine took on D6 here. So another option was to go on Queen H5, but still after the F7, that's another pawn is advancing. And after Knight D6, yeah, so H8, I had this another queen and won the game in a couple of moves. So that tells you everything about machines in 1985. They could play a decent game, by the way. That's the early stage of this game was, quite decent by any standards. Machines already knew enough about the openings to leave them without major damage. They could play some decent endgame. Of course, they can calculate within their range, but still, it was they were not yet ready to play a balanced game, and I managed to use it to my advantage. But it was the last time where I could trick a computer this way. And we were just about to enter a new era. And as I already said, there were some strong machines like Bell that could compete against top players. But just a few years later, we had a new program called Deep Thought, making history by beating a grandmaster, a great Ben Larsen, in real chess. A real chess game, I meant in a tournament chess. Now we call it classical chess, and that's brought us to a new phase of human-machine relationship.